Hi, everybody. Not much of a public speaker, but my name's Curt Morgan, and I live up in Morgan County up there, and we've run cows up there. I work with my dad and my cousin, Jason. Some of you guys might know him. He works a lot with the NRCS. I've been involved in cows since 2004 is when I kind of got in with my dad doing this. And we've done a lot of water quality projects with Hannah. And so we've been in build a lot of building projects and stuff to keep manure out of the streams and all of that good stuff. But anyways, that's kind of what I've been doing. To get a little closer. Sorry. Okay. So I'm not like a rep or anything for No Fence. That's just been the company that we've have been using. And we got them last spring. We got the collars last spring. The landowners that we run the cows on, they've been building and stuff, and we needed a way to keep the cows off their golf course and stuff like that. So the idea was behind it to just keep them out of home sites and off people's personal property, and then still be able to utilize the rest of the range ground like we've been doing. It's actually been a really good lifesaver for us to be able to keep ranching and stuff and keep running up there in Morgan, and because it was kind of encroaching on us pretty good. So that worked out pretty good. So the concept of it, you guys can see on there that I had a virtual fence line run right down that road. And you can see how the cows have respected it and stayed on the right-hand side, and were able to graze all that off, and then they stayed right away from the left-hand side. And so that kind of gives you a visual of that they do actually work. And I wouldn't have really... I wouldn't have thought that it would work but they purchased them and said, this is what you're going to do. So we went with it, and man, they work really, really awesome. Like I said, their intent was to keep them for their home sites and their utilities and things like that, to keep the cattle away from there. But I've actually been using it in different ways of pasture, building pastures all over the mountain. We run on the west side of Morgan Valley over there, and so being able to actually control the cattle and put them down, keep them from going down in the creek beds, and holding them up on where they haven't traditionally grazed, or to keep, as you guys have known or seen out there in the range and everything, they'll always just go and hang out down by the creeks and everything. So holding them up there where they can get the other feed and get better feed, it's been a really good deal to use it for alternate uses, or with the way that it's supposed to be used. Yeah, if you guys want to get on your phones or want to get on and if you're interested in this stuff, then nofenceusa.com is their website, and you can kind of scroll through there and see. It gives you a better visual of what their idea is and everything. It's been really easy. It took me a couple of weeks to figure out how to actually run the app and everything. It's been pretty user friendly and stuff. That's been something from other companies that have had a little bit of trouble with how to actually use the product and everything. It's been, once you figure it out and everything, you can move your lines around. So that's what the pasture kind of looks like. So that's why I'm here. You can see that we was able to utilize some of this ground. It's just a little teeny area, but you can run them right along the river edge like that, and you can make whatever fence you want and make it, and they're gonna stay. But being able to utilize little areas like that instead of dropping down, having them hammer on the creek banks and everything like that, it's a very useful tool for a lot of you guys' programs and everything like that. And instead of having to go to the expense of building a fence for 3 or 4 acres there, it's just a little handy little thing that I've got going on there. Yeah, there's a lot of different products out there. These ones, particularly, they run off of GPS, off the satellites and everything. So all I have to do is just set that pasture up. And I don't know if you guys have ever worked with Onyx or whatever. It's just got little buttons that you can click on and hold, and you can move the line wherever you want to, and it's really easy to use once you get the hang of it. It takes you a couple weeks to get it, but the cows, they did really good this year. They the whole west side of that valley and everything, it was just a huge range, and it's about 15,000 acres over there. And the thing that I tried to do this year was, as the cows, traditionally, there would always be the ones that would go across the bottoms and just live down low and wouldn't get up into the high country during July and August, when it's very, very hot, So I was able to hold those cows way up in the tops of the ridge line and everything, and I think that it put a lot of it. They all look very healthy when they come off. I don't know how. We've only done it for 1 year, so I can't really put a study on it or anything. But yeah, but I think for a lot of you guys' programs and what I've heard about grazing on the frag and everything, these guys already do it some out there trying to graze that down. It makes your life a lot easier to go out there and just do it with your phone, and there it is. But the one downfall with this product is that you do have to have good cell phone service, or decent cell phone service, and because your phone has to connect through cellular service to get to the caller. But if I don't know if you got that out or not, but they've made a way that the callers can actually communicate to one another through Bluetooth. So if you have one cow out on top of the ridge and the other cows are down in the bottoms where they're out of service and everything, this cow will get the connection, and she'll walk down to the water or whatever, and then she connects with all her buddies down in there, and then they're all linked up to the pasture, and it works really, really quick. And the time, obviously, if all the cows, or if there's a bunch of cows down there that aren't in service, it'll take longer time to do that connectivity. But if they're all out and grazing out where they can see it, it's within 30 seconds of having your new boundary set, and you're up and going again. So, but yeah. But I think the more, if you guys get onto any of those companies' websites and stuff after today, if you're interested in this kind of thing, it'll get your mind cranking on cool options that in your personal circumstances or wherever you're at, and as more time goes on, you get thinking about it, and how how creative you can get with what you're doing and stuff. So it works. It's been really, really nice to be able to do that. And then obviously seeing the cows, you know where they are, where we've ran before, or the same range and everything. We've had like 500 cows on there, and you could ride your horse all day long clear across that, and you'd only see like 10 head, so being able to see where they are has a huge benefit. So then I can go up there, take care of this certain bunch of cows in a certain pasture, and obviously get them their minerals and salts and things that make them happy. So yeah, it's just been I think it's been a really great deal, and I'm pretty excited for next year. On this deal, so say you have a 100-acre pasture, they have a exclusion zone. So you can, if you have a structure or a riparian area or a reseed area, you can go in there and make a little area inside of your pasture that will keep the cattle right away from that. So you don't have to move it clear over to here or move the cows clear to one side. So, and I've been using that as the construction has been going on. They've come back in and reseeded a bunch of stuff to fix it all up, and so you stay off of that, and that's been a really, really great thing. And obviously your structures, if you don't want them in your barn or in the wherever, so yeah, so I just think that to you folks that can, as the next couple of days roll on and everything, I think the more you think about it, then you'll come up with a plan or an idea on what you could do to help your whatever project you're doing. So there is one thing, the assistance to purchase the collars and everything. They're pretty expensive. As a producer looking back or looking out on it and everything, if you just look it up on the phone and want to get involved in this and stuff, then you're gonna that money's gonna set you back, and it's a big deterrent for people to be willing to do this kind of thing. But they have on their website that the NRCS has funding for these collars and all of that, but it's such a new concept that I looked into it, and it's such a new concept that there's not really a refined way through you guys' programs that make it happen. So if you could, as all you folks are sitting here, if you come up with a grazing idea or want to want to have somewhere grazed off with it, then that would help to get a program set up for if a rancher wants to call you, whichever entity that we're supposed to call. If you could have a certain designated area for that, then it could work out really good in the future and everything. But so anyway, what's up?
Yeah, thanks for that.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Question. Go ahead.
Have a round of applause. All right, who's ever shocked yourself on a fence? I have. And yeah, it's maybe easier not to shock yourself with a collar over there, right? Here we go.
I got a pretty good hit.
I really appreciate this different perspective. I think that was absolutely brilliant. I do have a question, though. What did the cows think of the collars? Did you have problems with the cows adapting to it? And did you have maintenance issues with the collars? Or did that all just go pretty good?
So the as you put that line out there and everything, as they walk up to it, I don't know if it's similar to a dog collar, but as they walk up to the line, then it'll start ringing, and if they keep going, then it'll give them a little hit, and then they'll come back to their friends or run away, and you got to go get them and bring them on back. But about a week, and they've quit doing anything, and all that you see, it shows you the activity that's been happening on the fence line. And after just a week, a couple of days, the majority of them respected it, and as soon as that started ringing, they just turned back. And so it's pretty, it's good for them and everything. They understand it pretty quick, and they're not, they're pretty wild cows. They're range cows and stuff. So that's what my concern was about the whole situation. But they caught on to it really quick. And if you just kind of leave them alone, if you're out there amongst them and everything, and they're getting nervous, then that's a different story. But on a day-to-day basis, they pick right up on it, and it very rarely got any hit with it.
Thanks. We got a question over here. I want people to think if there's any funding sources you think that could help facilitate this stuff. Let us know about those as well. I don't know if the NRCS CIP program or what might work, but there you go.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
A couple questions for you. One, did you have any financial assistance for
I did not.
implementing this?
I did not.
So this was all on your own.
Yeah.
So as somebody who's managing one of the programs, I'm just curious from the agency's perspective, like what can we do to reduce friction to make these types of innovations more easily accessible for producers on the ground?
Just word of mouth is that it sounds like a really weird concept until you're I wouldn't have believed it until I did it, kind of a thing. So if you can get it, for I don't know which section you're in of the deals, but water quality. Okay. So if you had a handful of them of your guys's and tried them out with the producer, then it catches on pretty quick about how cool the stuff is. And so something like that might be, have some of your own on hand that you could slap on a few cows and try it out, something like that. But like I say, the financing end of it, it's a pretty steep, it's pretty big to choke down if you wanted to go purchase them all right there. So
Yeah, I mean that's often the case with when like we were just talking about like outdoor landscaping and water use, and like making those changes from like a traditional fence to a fenceless system. It's going to take some financial input. And so like I guess my question is like, as somebody who is an organization or in program that's providing grants for this type of thing, like how do we make it easier for producers to access that type of funding?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking the question. The thing that I got into was like our area and everything. You needed a community. I can't remember what it's called. A bunch of people that are interested in grazing programs and things like that, to be able to catch the attention so that then the money can come in and everything, which I don't know how to get everybody on board on it and everything, but it does work, so, and once you see it.
Yeah, I think it's a great technology. And how much is one, or with the system, about?
$300 for one.
And then you got to buy the system too?
No, that all comes.
Oh, that comes with
these kind are different than the tower ones. From what I've heard, I've never been around the tower ones, but you have to buy a tower and you have to buy all of that stuff, and they can't move. The towers can't move from the ones that I've heard about. So you're stuck with, and I think they're like a 20-mile radius
Okay.
on flat ground. So, but you got to have like a visual sight to them and everything. So, but with these ones, to answer your questions, they're just they're all self-contained as long as you got cell phone service.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you could add up some labor costs to meet that pretty quick.
I was just looking for funding, possible fire control. How many forest fires do we have that we spend billions of dollars on?
Yeah.
If you was able to run your cattle across there.
That's actually been something that I've looked into with what's going on up there is fire mitigation situations.
This isn't really a question, just a comment, I guess, that I think there's a big disconnect between people that might be able to help find the funding and people who could use it. So I'm Tanner Cox with Trout Unlimited. I think I can think of about 5 different grant programs off the top of my head that could help with this sort of thing. Anybody here today that's interested in it or hears about it later, feel free to come talk to me. We've got a whole table of, I think, UDAF and NRCS folks there that have different funding options.
Okay.
Paul Burnett already talked a little bit about his program, so I think just the whole point of Weber River Partnership is to figure out how to collaborate better, so let's all work together and find these opportunities, especially in areas like this where it's, directly related to watershed health. And,
Right.
You talked about the ability to make your different pastures, which can help with different,
Yeah.
like cheatgrass suppression even, or different weed mitigation. So again, let's just use it as an opportunity to collaborate to the best of our ability.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Any other questions, or you got something here?
Just by way of information, so Camp Williams uses cattle, also sheep and goats for wildland fire fuel mitigation, and they used this technology this last year to great effect. The nice thing about this technology is you could move the livestock to certain paddocks to target certain wildland fuel areas. So it was very successful. The only challenge they had was because of the mountainous terrain, there was sometimes some signal loss, but by and large, it was a wonderful first year of doing it.
Right.
So I think there's some real merits to this technology as far as wildland fire fuel mitigation. I don't know if it's been tried on sheep and goats. I'm not sure about that.
I think that's how this company got started.
So I think teenagers would also be a good application as well. So.
Oh. All right. Well, let's give a round of applause. That was really good. It's good stuff. So.